Hey y'all, so I've been brewing a Leviathan deck for a couple of months now, and finally I was able to get the cards on paper and try it on my locals, and I went for O, so I think this deck has a lot of potential. It's a aggro deck. It is very inspired by a Canadian Highlander list called Grew Monsters. So this is why the deck is called Ruby Monsters. Okay, let's take a quick look at the commander. It's Ruby, Daring Tracker. It's a human scout, red and green. It has haste. Whenever Ruby Daring Tracker attacks while you control a creature with power 4 or greater, Ruby gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and it can tap for red or green. And it's a 1/2. This card is perfect. It does everything you need to on this deck. It can generate mana early. It can push a little bit more damage. Uh, so this creature is amazing. Okay, so moving on. Let's now take a look at the deck. But before, I wanna just like try a sample hand so I can show you how it works. Okay, so the main idea of the deck is very simple. You just want to ramp and deploy like big creatures. So let's say this is my initial hand. I have an Inti, a Caves of Chaos Adventure, a Buzz of Paradise. Uh, Let me leave this here, so I'll draw it after. A mountain, a forest, a glory bringer, and a blood moon. Okay, so let's say my first turn is I just drop a forest, then I drop a birds here. Then on next turn, on tap, I draw another land. And then here I have two options. Since I've ramped last turn, I have 3 mana here. I can just drop Blood Moon and sometimes just end the game on this spot because maybe your opponent don't have any basics. But let's say I want to go with the Ruby. So I drop Ruby here, and you can see I still have like 2 mana open. So I can use this to drop Inti since she has haste, which is very useful. If I don't have like Inti here, I can just like push 1 damage. But let's say this deck has a lot of drops on turn 2, so I can do this play. A lot of strong 2-drop. And yeah, on next turn I now have like 5 mana, so I can just drop a Glory Bringer. If I drop the Glory Bringer, I can like push a lot of damage here. I have like 2 Inti triggers. So yeah. Oh, I might wanna just drop Caves of Chaos Adventure, which lets me attack with Ruby and Inti, and then here Ruby gonna trigger because I have a 5 power creature. And then she becomes a 3/4, and the Inti also triggers. It's 2 triggers here, so just like it's got those things and give them more counters. And yeah, that's just basically the idea of the deck. You just want to like drop good creatures that have like haste, or maybe they have like hexproof or trample, or have ways to like get you into the dungeon, like taking the initiative. And yeah, that's basically the idea of the deck. Now let's take a look at the deck itself. So here I have a lot of mana docks, or ways to generate mana very early on. Birds of Paradise, as I've shown before, Green Sun Zenith to get Dread Arbor, Utopia Sprawl, Wild Growth, Elvis Mystic, Arbor Elf, the Lightning Halfling, Ragavan, which isn't a mana dock, but since it generates treasures, it makes your clock much better. So usually keep your hand with Ragavan. It's very good, especially if you're playing like a deck that don't have early removal. It's very good. Llanowar Elves, Warrior Druid, Thunderhorn Elfen, and yeah, this is like for the cards, one mana cards like generate mana very early. Also, Green Suns, and if it's a very good tutor that you can use later on. So yeah, moving on, we have here X-Drinker, also very good. If your opponent doesn't answer this, it becomes like very hard to remove. Let me pick a few more cards here. Okay. Now let's take a look at like the true 2 mana cards that you can just deploy on turn 2, like Smugcopter, Ren 6, Crank. This is Canker Bloom, I think. Yep. Cemetery Gatekeeper, also very powerful, very good against like control decks, because you just drop this and you like remove instant card from your opponent. So every time like he tries to counter a spell, he just takes 2. Also very good like against graveyard decks. So you you're playing against a deck that can want to reanimate a creature, you just like drop this and remove the creature before they can reanimate it. Moloch, yeah, very good. Like it's a removal on a stick. Outland Liberator, nice removal for artifacts and enchantments. Rubber of the Reach has haste, has reach, also generates kind of value. Lawyer Apprentice, since your commander has such a low cost, you almost always have them both together. If you drop this on turn 2, it gives you such a huge clock that this can just win games right on the spot. If your opponent is like kind of slow, it just pushes a lot of damage, creates like a lot of bodies. Kinetic Creator, it's like the new, better scavenging use. It gets very big and gets trample after. Also a Grave Hate card, which is very important in the format. And that's it for 2 mana. Let's take a look at 3 mana here. At Laelia, which is also pretty good. It generates kind of value. It has haste. It grows big. But Crush Giant, it's also hard to deals a lot of damage. It's a shock. Box of the Moon, self-explanatory. Endurance, also self-explanatory. Dunley, also self-explanatory. All good cards that helps pushing damage or making your opponent have like a bad time. No. Yeah. Okay. Now let's take a look at like 4 mana here. Like 4 mana, which we usually get this on turn 3. We have Minskin This card is busted. If you drop this very early and your opponent does not answer it, you just trample your opponent to death and then push like a lot of damage and draw so many cards. This thing is a beast. Has won me so many games. It's powerful. Heckenlink Phoenix, very hard to deal. Need to remove it twice. And the White Captain, this is the Monarch on turn 4. It's a solid card. Headlines call it. This card is very good. It's a haste 3/3. When it enters, creatures that are gonna play control can block the stun. So sometimes it can just like finish the game if your opponent has like a huge board and you just want to like get your creatures in. Also, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of the library face down. You may look at it and play that card in stun. Generates card advantage. Very good. From the last Shrove, it's just like a 4 mana, can be countered. Can be the target of spells or abilities. It has hexproof and also can regenerate, so it's a very hard card to deal. And it's a 4/4, very solid. Questing Beast, Questing Beast has like do everything, and yeah. Rampaging Raptor, which is like kind of the weaker Questing Beast, but it's still good. On the Mountain Adventure, it's an initiative card. Also another initiative card here. Troon. Now we go into the 5 mana cards, 5 more mana cards. Troon is also like the other one. It can be countered. It has hexproof on non-green cards, and it's indestructible on your turn. So it also has trample. So yeah, very good. Balustrade Worm. It's a new card from Duskmourn. Can be countered, trample haste, and for the leader you can pay 4 mana and return this card for your graveyard with a finality counter. So if your opponent remove it next turn, you can just like drop it again and just push more damage and keep pushing damage. Blurry Challenger, it's very similar to the last one, but better. It has Cascade, Haste, and Escape. So if your opponent like kill this for some reason, you're pushing damage with this, you're trying to kill it, you can just like drop it again with Escape, removing 3 cards from exiling 3 cards from your graveyard, and just keep pushing damage. Avabruk Caretaker, another excellent card. It has hexproof, and it just makes all your creatures big. If you go to the other side, just protects all your board with hexproof, and just gives +2/+2 every turn to your whole board. This card is amazing. It's very, very good. There are some decks that can't handle her, so sometimes she's just like a way to win the game right on the spot. Fury, self-explanatory, Carnage Tyrant, just like a can't be countered, trample hexproof. This card is also insane, generates so much value, so much life gain, and it's so hard to deal when it enters, or when a creature with power 4 greater enters on your battlefield. You just draw cards, you get life, and when it dies, it just come back. Very good. Turn a Hex, also just a big creature that can't be countered. It has trample, ward 4, haste, and toxic 4. So your opponent is holding a counter spell. You just drop this thing and just push 8 damage. And then if your opponent has infinite life for some reason, you can just like push for 10 toxic and win the game. Yeah. Some enchantments here. Silver Library. It's also a 2-mana card that you can drop on turn 2 that generates like a lot of value. Coach of Garen Green, 3 mana that you also can drop on turn 2 if you have a mana dock on turn 1. You become the Monarch, and also you distribute like a lot of +1/+1 counters on your creatures. And yeah, this just gets out of control very, very, very quickly if your opponent don't deal with it. And Shadowing the Warp, also a very good way to get discounts on your creature. The 5th creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. And then whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, Shadowing the Warp deals 2 damage to that player. This card is insane. If you get it early on the game and your opponent don't answer it, you're going to lose so much life to it, and you're going to get a lot of creatures very cheap. It's amazing. Also, very good card from Warhammer. Okay, now let's take a look at some instant and sorceries. Searing Eruption, it's a new card from Modern Horizons 3. Very good. It's a land too. But what I like about this card is creatures without flying can block this turn, so this helps you finish the game if needed. Chain Lightning, it's a sorcery speed lightning bolt. Natural Order that can help. It can get like all those big creatures that I've shown before. Eldritch Evolution, also very good. Those 2 cards I can just like sack Ruby and get something like much better, something that I'm needing, or something that's like huge in my opponent can handle very, very early. I can just cast Natural Order on turn 3 and like get the game very easily for me. This is Fury Confluence, just a lot of damage, can do a board wipe if your opponent has like a lot of small creatures. It can destroy a lot of artifacts. Woodley Tutor, self-explanatory. It's a lightning bow here, a braid. Press of Progress also deals a lot of damage through greedy mana bases. Heroic Intervention and Ghost Fireflies. This card is excellent here on Leviathan. You almost always get the discount and just deals 4 damage to any target. Okay, let's move on to here. So I have like more 2 artifacts. They are both 1 mana. It's Skull Clamp and Shadow Spear. Skull Clamp, it's an excellent card to recycle your mana docks later on the game. You can just like equip them and just draw a lot of cards, or maybe just equip on a creature that if your opponent remove it, you just draw 2 cards. So it's very good. And Shadow Spear, giving trample and lifelink to any of your creatures can be very game changing, especially if you're like playing a race against an aggro deck. And this was a Saga, which is kind of also very good. It just gives you 2 creatures and gets you one of those 2 cards. So yeah, very, very good. And now This is casting Wolfram. Yeah, very good way to give trample to one of your creatures and finish the game. Wasteland, Den of the Bugbear, excellent land creature land card. Can push a lot of damage. Ramanap Rings and Barbarian Ring, they have like the same very similar purpose, which is like pushing uh less like the last amount of damage needed to finish the game. Then you have Maseju, and yeah, that's it. That's the deck. What we have here is like all the Gru mana base, all the fetches and etc. I run a Crystal Vein because it sometimes gives me 2 mana, which is sometimes very important to get like a huge creature 1 turn early. And that's the deck. I have enough souls too. And yeah, that's it. That's the deck. It's very simple, very straightforward. You just wanna drop Ruby early on, ramp, and drop heavy creatures, and win the game. And that's it. Well, thanks for watching. If you like the deck or you have any opinion, please leave a comment down below. I'll be giving my best to read it. And that's it. Thanks. Bye bye.